In May 1954, just weeks before the FIFA World Cup in Switzerland, Hungary faced England once again, this time in Budapest. Seeking revenge, England was instead crushed, as Hungary delivered a stunning 7-1 victory. Everything seemed perfect. Hungary arrived in Switzerland full of confidence, as the team everyone expected to become champions. In their opening match of the group stage, they overwhelmed South Korea 9-0 in a dominant performance. Surely, Hungary will win this tournament. That was the general belief. It was a dream start, but fortune can be fickle. In their second match against West Germany, disaster struck. Hungary's star player, Ferenc Puskás, suffered an ankle injury after a tackle by West German defender Werner Liebrich. Hungary still won the match 8-3, but the damage was severe. Puskás was forced out until the final, and anxiety spread throughout the squad. Even without their captain, however, the legendary and magical Magyars pressed on. They continued their unstoppable run, defeating Brazil 4-2 in the quarter-finals and Uruguay 4-2 in the semi-finals, advancing to the final. The final would be a rematch against West Germany. Having never won a major title, West Germany entered the match as clear underdogs. Most expected Hungary to win comfortably. On July 4, at the Wankdorf Stadium in Bern, the World Cup final kicked off, guaranteeing a first-ever title for either side. Despite his injured ankle, Puskás returned to the starting lineup and struck early, scoring with his powerful left foot in the 6th minute. Just 2 minutes later, Zoltán Csiba capitalized on a defensive error to make it 2-0. Hungary looked in complete control, but West Germany fought back. In the 10th minute, Max Morlock scored to pull one back, and in the 18th minute, Helmut Rahn equalized. The match turned into a fierce battle, Hungary dominating possession, West Germany defending resolutely and launching quick counter-attacks. Then, suddenly, the rain began to fall. And it didn't stop, it only grew heavier. The pitch quickly turned into mud, and Hungary suffered the most. Their trademark precise passing game fell apart as the ball refused to roll properly. Players slipped constantly, struggling even to run. For West Germany, however, it was a blessing in disguise. While Hungarian players slid and fell, their red shirts covered in mud, the Germans kept their footing and chased the ball relentlessly. In fact, coach Sepp Herberger and Adidas founder Adi Dassler had prepared revolutionary boots with interchangeable studs, later known as Samba. Thanks to these boots, West Germany maintained stability despite the conditions. And in this torrential rain, one player came alive, like a fish in water. That man was West Germany's captain and star striker, Fritz Walter. During World War II, Walter had contracted malaria, leaving him extremely vulnerable to heat and sunlight. But in cool, rainy conditions, his body responded differently, he played at his very best. His teammates even called it Fritz Walter weather. With the rain, momentum shifted. West Germany gradually took control. Hungary continued to attack bravely, but luck abandoned them, shots struck the post and crossbar time and again. Then, the deadlock was finally broken. In the 84th minute, Ron collected the ball outside the penalty area and struck with his left foot. The low shot slipped past goalkeeper Gyula Grozicz and into the net. West Germany had completed the comeback. Hungary, stunned, immediately launched a desperate counterattack. Puskás received the ball in the box and, despite slipping, fired a left-footed shot past the keeper. An equalizer, surely? But no. The goal was ruled offside. In the end, West Germany held on to win 3-2, claiming their first World Cup title. This shocking upset would forever be remembered as the Miracle of Bern. For Hungary, it was heartbreak, not only losing the title, but also seeing their 4-year unbeaten run come to an end. After the tournament, Hungary remained a dominant force. From September 1954 to September 1956, they recorded 16 wins, 3 draws, and just 1 loss in 20 matches. They continued building toward the next World Cup in Sweden. However, in the autumn of 1956, fate struck once again. On October 23, the Hungarian Revolution of 1956 erupted. After World War II, Hungary had been placed under oppressive Soviet control. Public frustration toward the pro-Soviet government had been growing. On October 23, 1956, protests erupted in Budapest and quickly escalated into a nationwide uprising. The Soviet Union responded with military force, brutally suppressing the revolution, causing countless casualties and refugees. At that time, Puskás and his teammates, including Sándor Kocsis and Chiba, were abroad in Spain with their club, Budapest Hond. Hearing the shocking news, they faced a life-changing decision: return home or defect. Puskás chose exile, leaving his homeland behind for freedom in the West. Kocsis and Chiba followed. With their departure, the magical Magyars were effectively dismantled. If not for those 2 bolts from the blue that struck them, the sudden change in weather during the World Cup final, and the Hungarian Revolution of 1956, the magical Magyars would surely be remembered today as an even greater legend, passed down to far more generations. It was the story of Hungary's national team of the 1950s, known as the Magical Magyars, a phantom greatest champion in history, who were swallowed by the great waves of a cruel and extraordinary fate, and faded away into legend. 2 years later, at the 1958 World Cup in Sweden, the man who should have claimed the throne, Puskás, was no longer there. Instead, a 17-year-old unknown arrived with Brazil. A young black boy, barely recognized on the world stage. Yet he would lead Brazil to their first World Cup triumph. His name was Edson Arantes do Nascimento, also known as Pelé.